This week we have a sneak peek at the story mode for Battlefront II.
Benicio del Toro's getting his own comic book.
And Ron Howard tweeted again.
This week on the Star Wars Show, Anthony sits down with Star Wars author Chuck Wendig. We get our first look at the new Battlefront II trailer, and much, much more. Now, from the Lucasfilm headquarters, it's the Star Wars Show.
Hey, I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Andy Gutierrez, and this is the Star Wars Show, the only Star Wars show on the internet where half of the hosts and crew have a really terrible chest cold and showed up to work anyway because we love our jobs.
That's right, we care about you, and mostly we care about Tag and Bink. Let's go to the news, there's Tag and Bink! Following the hype and excitement for the trailer last week, or the premiere of Rebels on Monday, Ron Howard, the #1 source for Han Solo movie news, has tweeted yet again.
Yesterday, he announced the official title of the movie, which is now called Solo, a Star Wars story.
But that's not all Ron Howard tweeted. Oh no. Over the weekend, he posted a selfie with 2 Imperial officers along with the hashtag #TagAndBink ?
Of course, the internet lost their minds.
Me too.
I'm well aware. At the possibility of Tag and Bink, the legendary bumbling duo from the comic series of the same name, whose misadventures may or may not have been the catalyst for every major event in the series, might have a brief cameo in the Ron Howard film.
The selfie spawned a series of tweets from Tag and Bink creator Kevin Rubio and John Kasdan, the screenwriter of Solo, confirming that he and first assistant director Toby Heffernan played the characters on screen. Tag and Bink are real!
But how will this play into the overall film itself? We'll all find out on May 25th, 2018.
DJ, the character played by Benicio del Toro in Star Wars The Last Jedi, is getting his own comic.
Marvel's Star Wars The Last Jedi DJ #1 will follow the mysterious scoundrel's journey leading up to his appearance in the film.
Written by Ben Acker and Ben Blacker, with art by Kev Walker and cover by Jeff DeCal, the issue will focus on how his lackadaisical attitude and sharp skills put him in the path of our Resistance heroes.
And you can read it for yourself when the one-time story hits shelves on January 31st, 2018.
With just under a month to go before Star Wars Battlefront II is released on November 17th, we haven't seen much in the way of the single-player story beyond some teases here and there.
But that ends tomorrow when EA will release a brand new story trailer for the single-player campaign.
And as we do here on the Star Wars Show, we've secured a quick first look at the trailer dropping tomorrow that gives us a closer look at Iden and her stealthy droid.
Check it out.
Look at him, he's heading for that small moon.
That's no moon.
Joining me now in the studio, we have the author of the Aftermath trilogy, and he has a story in the new book, Star Wars from a Certain Point of View. Chuck Wendig!
Hi, everybody.
Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
The Aftermath trilogy, what a Herculean thing to take on.
Yeah, that was big. I didn't know. I had no idea. Like, they were like, would you like to write maybe like some little books for Star Wars? And I was like, yeah, whatever. It's probably not important. It's like, just like it's going to be Chief Chirpa's adventure, his novel. I am in. And then it became this massive, gargantuan trilogy. It was so exciting.
I mean, you were basically tasked with filling the time between the original trilogy and TFA.
Yeah, at least starting to, building up to the Battle of Jakku and everything. Yeah. It was all about working up a treatment and a pitch and some new characters, because we knew we didn't want to touch the principal characters initially, because to save those reveals for The Force Awakens. And then we were off to the races.
There's some Han in there.
There's a little Han there. We got some Han there. I was like, we just need a little Han. Come on.
Well, what I love is you do get into the idea that these things tend to have messier, lingering endings than you would think. They are more political than you would think.
Absolutely. It's interesting when you think about, for the Rebel Alliance at this point, becoming the New Republic, this is when the actual war begins. They've had sort of a ragtag guerrilla conflict up until this point, but after that, it's off to the races with huge, epic conflict.
Absolutely amazing. And I wanted you to know, a couple weeks ago, we asked the audience of the show who their favorite droid of all time was.
Sure.
Mr. Bones, very popular.
Very popular. Laughing, dancing, huggable murder droid.
Yeah. Where did Mr. Bones come from?
Watching the prequels and stuff, especially like I remember watching the trailers for the prequels, and you see these droids coming over the hills, and you're like, I don't know what they are, but they look like vulture skeletons. Like, they're terrifying. They have a terrifying cut about them. Then you see the movies, and it turns out they're sort of a bumbling lightsaber fodder. But I wanted to return to that creepy, that vulture cut, that Skeksis from the Dark Crystal sort of vibe to them. And so Mr. Bones was born.
But you gave a few really good kind of moments that people have latched onto. I want to talk about representation Representative Binks.
Everybody reads that chapter differently. Some people look at it and they're like, what a beautiful thing you've done. And some people are like, you didn't punish him enough. And some people are like, I love how you hurt him. And I was like, no, I just want to be an authentic, earnest look at the world of Jar Jar.
I am familiar with both sides of that coin.
Yeah, right.
Yes, we hear a lot of that stuff
Yes.
on both sides.
I'm sure.
Also, Star Wars from a certain point of view. It's becoming one of my favorite Star Wars books, I think, of all time.
Mine too.
It does such a great job of taking these little questions that I think we all have and turning them into these great stories. Your story actually answers one of the questions that I always had as a kid.
Right. I think one of the misconceptions about the prequel films is that it's about contextualizing Anakin's journey to becoming Darth Vader. I believe the prequels are answering the question, why does Wooer hate droids?
Yeah.
That's like, which is all set up for Wooer.
When I was a kid, I was always like, why does he hate these droids
I know, I'm like,
so
they're
much?
not going to drink anything.
Now I know who this guy is.
Yeah, right.
He is a fleshed out character.
He's got some history with some droids, as it turns out. They menaced the galaxy and he was a child. How sad.
Chuck, if people want to keep up with you and what you're doing, where do they go?
They just come to my house.
Okay.
Hang out. No, yeah, don't
What's
do
your
that. Don't come to
address?
my house. Yeah, no, you almost got me. I almost gave that out. No, terribleminds.com is my blog, and you can find me on Twitter at Chuck Wendig.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming by, man.
I'm Jared Krzaska. I'm the author and illustrator of the new Jedi Academy books. So I'm here today to draw the main characters, Victor and Christina Starspeeder, as well as Yoda.
Watching the Star Wars show.
You know what this show could use?
What's that?
Adorable animals in Star Wars costumes.
Yes. Yes, that is exactly what this show needs. And since the spooktacular season of Halloween is upon us, and animals have no sense of time and won't mind getting dressed up early, we want to see your pets in Star Wars costumes.
Forever, actually. Send them all the time. Send us pictures of your fur babies using the hashtag Barkside, and we'll feature our favorites here next week.
And as always, make sure to like the videos, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and download the Star Wars app.
Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you. Yeah,
Barkside. That's good. My dog will wear his Yoda robe, but not the ears.
I have a pet snake. What could he be? He could be a lightsaber.
He'd be a malfunctioning lightsaber.
He'd be the worst lightsaber.
2 hamsters as Tag and Bink. Where the little helmets? Ugh!